Welcome to the Tier 1 and Zoological 2018 Application Workshop with Salt Lake County Zoo Arts and Parks. This is what we're hoping to go over today. If you're hoping to get further guidance after viewing this workshop, we highly recommend you attend our in-person workshop. We're going to start with introductions and provide an overview of the ZAP program. We'll provide a timeline for this process and how to connect with us. We'll then review the 2018 application and give you information on how to contact us if you have questions. This is the ZAP staff. We're standing with Mayor Ben McAdams. On the left there is me. I'm the Grant and Communications Program Manager. My name is Megan Adderman. On the right is the ZAP Program Director, Vicki Borns. Our role is that we do not score your applications. We are keepers of the ZAP application process. We ensure that it is fair and equitable, and we cannot advocate for your organization. Your application must stand on its own. We do, however, want you to be successful in your application, so if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact us at any time. We are more than happy to help you. This is the ZAP Tier 1 Advisory Board that reviews the Tier 1 and Zoological applications. They are volunteers, and their role is to review and score your applications. They then make recommendations to the Salt Lake County Council for final approval. They serve a 3-year term and may serve 2 terms. There are 7 members of this board, and each will be lead reviewer to 3 or 4 Tier 1 and Zoological organizations. They are assigned to you, and we will let you know who your lead reviewer is around February of 2017. Feel free to invite them to your events and to your office. This is all part of the application process, and it gives them a better idea of what your organization does. Here's a little overview of the ZAP program. This video is on our YouTube. Feel free to share it from your social media if you'd like. Here's a little history of the ZAP program. In 1993, when ZAP was first on the ballot, it actually failed to pass. In 1996, the recreation component was added and ZAP tax passed with 58% of the vote. In 2004, it was renewed at 71% of the vote, and 2014, it was renewed with 77% of the vote. It sunsets every 10 years and goes to vote every 10 years. It exists because of state statute and is voted on by Salt Lake County residents. Here's a little overview of the Tier 1 and Zoological processes. These were updated last year, as you know. Tier 1 now receives 45% of the funding pot, and Zoological receives 16% of the funding pot. It is available annually, this grant, and it is a competitive process. Tier 1 allows for only 22 arts and cultural organizations, and Zoological allows for only 3 organizations. This is how you can find out if you're eligible for Tier 1 or Zoological funding. You must have a 501c3 nonprofit status. You must have your main office in Salt Lake County. You must be an arts and cultural, botanical, or zoological organization. And your qualifying expenditures are a 3-year minimum average for Tier 1. Actually, this must be $354,000. This needs to change. If you're Zoological, you need to serve over 75,000 visitors per year and have AZA accreditation or some accreditation from a similar body. You must also belong to a discipline that ZAP funds. Those are listed here. If you apply for Tier 1 funding but are not recommended, you are eligible to apply for Tier 2 funding. This is our scoring scale. If you look back at our scores on your 2017 application, it'll give you a good idea of where you fall on the scale with our board. If you can't remember what your score is, feel free to contact us. We have those on file and we're happy to provide them for you. A really high scoring application, so one with 7s, would include some of these major points in their application. They would demonstrate that they engage qualified and diverse arts and cultural professionals, inspire and contribute to a vibrant, energetic cultural community in Salt Lake County, and provide unique, impressive, and noteworthy contributions to its field. You would also support work that has high merit. You would have an engaged, active, and qualified board. You would demonstrate diversity, ethnic, socioeconomic, gender, geography, etc. You would evaluate the performance of executive staff. You would ensure organization has the resources necessary for its operations. You would demonstrate that organization understands, works with, and serves its community. You would connect with the target audience and make an effort to also reach out to underserved populations. You would demonstrate meaningful relationships with other art and cultural agencies, and you would be open to the public and welcome all. You would also clearly demonstrate that the organization is well managed and stable and has an engaged, active, and qualified staff and volunteers, including your board. You would demonstrate diverse funding sources and set clear, realistic goals and measure progress. Clearly, you would demonstrate the ability to implement programs and operations, and for financial health, for a score of 7, you would have to pass all financial health criteria in the last 3 years. This is an explanation of your financial health score. There are several tests that our outside CPA runs on your finances. She and Vicki then decide this score based on this criteria. So again, that score of 7 would be that you had to pass all tests in the last 3 years. This is our tentative process timeline. Applications will be due May 12th at 3 p.m. Our board will review the applications from May to September, and our advisory board will make recommendations to the council in September or October. Once approved by the council, who has the final say, we will move to contracting. We expect contracts to get back as soon as possible after they are given to you. Be on the lookout for contract signing information in late 2017. These dates are subject to change. We are not able to send out contracts until the council approves. We are subject to their schedules. While I have you, I want to encourage you to connect with us. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, to stay up to date on the application process and other insider tips and opportunities, please subscribe to our newsletter. Email me to be added to the list. My email address is down there at the bottom, matterman, 2 N's at the end, @slco.org. Announcements about our processes are usually at the top of our newsletter, so be sure to pay attention to those announcements. Now I'm going to provide you with an overview of the application. As you're probably aware, we are using our grantor management system, Zoom Grants, which is all online. We're pretty excited about this, and we've received a lot of positive feedback last year. But we know that this is always a learning process, and we're happy to walk you through it, so feel free to give us a call if you have any questions. I'll show you how to get to our application from our website. Our website is www.zapisyou.org, zapisyu.org, or www.slco.org/zap. You will be interested in the Seeking Zap Funds category and the Tier 1 or Zoological. I'm going to click on Tier 1, but Zoological will look very similar. Here you will find an overview of the Tier 1 process, how to make sure you're eligible, and then also how to apply. Click this big green button to apply. You should already have a Zoom Grants login for your organization. If the person who applied for your organization last year is no longer with your organization, please let us know. We can contact Zoom Grants to have them switch the account to a new user. You must log in before you can apply. Once logged in, click the Apply button. Your application title should be your organization's name plus the year. You do not need to fill in the amount requested. Leave this blank. We'd like you to enter your 3-year qualifying expenditure amount here. This is taken from your qualifying expenditure worksheet, which you fill out. As you can see, your information has pre-populated. Just check through to make sure everything is still accurate and change anything that isn't. Add your CEO or executive director. You'll probably also want to add them as a collaborator to the account. As you can see, they've also been added as an additional contact. This means that whenever we send an email or a notification or something that we require clarification on, they will also receive an email. This is especially key when it comes to contracting, that they are able to access this in order to sign the contract. So you must invite the contractual authority to the application. The next part of the application is just general eligibility. These should be relatively easy to answer that will help you know whether or not you qualify for Tier 1 and zoological funding. Your DBA is the name you commonly go by. If it differs from the name listed on your 501c3 letter, add it here. If not, you can enter NA. Your organization must be headquartered in Salt Lake County. If you are members of the UNA, mark yes. If you are not members of the UNA, mark no. You must abide by all nonprofit ethics and professional standards. So if you answered no to question 4 and your organization is not AZA accredited or not a member of the Utah Nonprofits Association, you must attach a copy of your organization's ethical and professional standards to the Documents tab as approved by your board. So yes, we do abide by all nonprofit ethics standards, and I have attached my standard of ethics to the Documents tab. If you're applying for zoological funding, we want to know if you're accredited by a recognized accrediting association for your field. If yes, you might enter AZA. If no, mark no. If not applicable, for example, if you're applying for Tier 1 funding, mark not applicable. If you're an organization that is part of a public university, college, or educational affiliate, does your organization receive more than 50% of its funding from state funds? SAP is unable to fund educational affiliates that receive more than 50% of their funding from the state. So mark no, your organization does not receive more than 50%. If it's not applicable, if you're not part of a public university, college, or educational affiliate, mark not applicable. We want to know your primary eligible discipline. This is the discipline that your organization encompasses more than 50% of its activities. Your organization might do some presenting, but maybe you're mostly natural history. You'd click that. Indicate the 12-month period of time you're requesting 2018 ZAP funding. It's usually best to look at your last application and then just do the next 12 months after that. Be sure that you don't accidentally indicate 13 months by saying something like July 2018 to July 2019. As you can see, that is 13 months, so you'd want to change this to June. We'd like you to summarize your organization's work in 140 characters or less. We don't want this question to stress you out. This is just a short blurb we'd like to include on our website if you're funded. Have fun with it. We'd also like you to upload your organization's 501c3 letter. Click this box once you've done so. You can upload it here. Be sure that your 501c3 letter includes your EIN number on it. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. We'd like you to include a video artifact. If you already have a YouTube video or a Vimeo video that you would like us to see, we strongly recommend that you attach it here. We have this great video. We'd like to attach it. Let me show you how to do that. I'm on YouTube, and if I go to share, I don't want this URL. I want an embed code. I'm going to copy this and enter it here. The great thing about this is it will show up automatically on the application as the first thing that the board reviewers will see. Board members especially like it if videos show your organization's audience or the way you work with your community. If you already have one, we'd like you to put it here. If you don't have one, this is optional. This summary table looks similar to past years. We'd like you to include the total number for each category and do not use any words or special characters besides commas. These should be numbers only. So don't say 100. We'd like you to include the actual number. Unpaid volunteers includes your board members. Artists, scholars, botanists, zoologists involved. This is paid and unpaid, so count up all of those. This is the number of activities that you do in Salt Lake County. And this is how many of those are free. This is the people in attendance at activities in Salt Lake County. And this is how many received free attendance, free admission. This is your total attendance for all of your events, so including those ones that are outside Salt Lake County. We'd like you to attach a one-page executive summary of your organization to the Documents tab. This question was suggested to us by a few of you applicants. This is a chance to briefly show us at a glance what you want us to know about your organization, but please make sure that this is only one page. You can attach it here. We'd like you to think of this as kind of like a resume for your organization. As you can see, we've broken this up into our scoring criteria. This is simple. Just paste in your mission statement. If 2,000 characters is not enough for your mission statement, you may adjust it slightly. We'd like you to describe your organization's major programs and how they contribute to the community. Name each of the organization's major programs and how it contributes to the community. So think about this as sort of a bullet point style. List the program and how it will, with an explanation of how it contributes to the community. So maybe you do art outreach with students. Provide an explanation of how that contributes to a vibrant cultural community in Salt Lake County. You might also have daily museum exhibits. Provide an explanation of how that contributes to the community. You have 4,000 characters to do this, but do think brief. Make this easy for the board members to read. What has your organization accomplished within the past year that you are most proud of? This is a fun question. Let us know what accomplishments your organization has had in the past year. Show us your passion here. What makes you excited about going to work? These next two questions are new. They are to help us see what kind of work is being done around the county. Please count up the activities you've done in each of these communities within the past fiscal year. Each of these is a distinct place, so there should be no duplicates among these two questions. This is in lieu of typing out all your activities on a community activities table. We will be looking at your Now Playing Utah past events to see what work you've done. This is just to help us count that up. We don't expect that you have done work in each of these communities. We just want to know where you're doing work. And your activities can include performances, workshops, work in schools, outreach, booths, etc. These answers should be numbers only and not any words. Don't say dozen. Say 24. You'll do the same with question 8. These are unincorporated areas in the county. We also want you to upload your current season brochure to the Documents tab. Again, the Documents tab can be found here. Your current season brochure can be added here. If your brochure is too big or any documents are too large to attach, you can always set it in a Dropbox or some sort of cloud storage and include the link here. As you can see, the question turns red because it is required and you have not filled it out yet. Let's move on to Governing Board. We'd like you to attach a board list to the Documents tab. Please be sure to include the home addresses of your board members, their phone numbers, email addresses, and a list of skills and expertise that the member brings to your board. This particular part of this list is often missed by many, many applicants, so be sure to include their skills and expertise. We'd also like you to describe any efforts your board is taking toward increasing the diversity of your board of directors or trustees. Please be as specific as space will allow. This is not a trick question. We simply want to know what actions your board is taking to increase the diversity of your board. Provide us with specifics if you have them. We ask this because that policy prioritizes those organizations that provide geographic, ethnic, and other diversity on its board, governing and advisory boards when all else is equal. We understand that this is a challenge that the whole field is facing. Be honest about your challenges. Describe how your organization defines diversity and what it is doing to move your organization in a more diverse direction. We'd also like you to list the total number of board members for each of the categories listed below. We want to see what geographic representation you have in our county districts. These have to be according to the board members' home addresses. If you're not sure what district their address is in, you can use on the Resources tab, the County District Map. Click where they are to see which district they are in. Let's move on to public benefit and outreach, 20%. Tell a story from the past year of a moment when it was clear that your organization impacted the community. Choose one story that gives life to your organization's programs. Your answer to this question should give a compelling argument as to why public dollars should fund your project or operation. This question is exactly as it sounds. Choose one story from the many you have, I'm sure, that demonstrates the importance of what you do in the community and how you impact the community. Describe how your organization is working to increase its reach in Salt Lake County. When all else is equal, that policy prioritizes organizations providing exemplary community services through outreach and free or highly discounted programming. Use this space to explain what your organization has done to increase its reach in Salt Lake County. You may wish to divide this by strategy and provide an explanation as to how this strategy is increasing your reach. Again, make this easy for the board members to read. Describe one partnership and how it has helped your organization serve the community better. Choose one of the partnerships to fully describe. Be sure to include this partnership, how this partnership has helped you better support the community. If desired, you may attach a full list of partners to the Documents tab. This question is looking at how you effectively partnered to impact the community. Describe your process for choosing the partnership and how it benefited the community. This is not a list of partners. You may include a list on the Documents tab if desired. Let's move to management and organizational capacity stability. Describe your organization's succession planning efforts for key staff. This question is exactly as it sounds. Choose a detailed succession plan you have in place for key staff. What plans, procedures are in place if something unexpected happens to a staff person? What are your organization's key goals and objectives for the next 5 years? What are your plans for achieving them? You may wish to distinguish your organization's short and long-term goals. List each goal and how your organization plans to reach that goal. Be sure to include the second part, how you plan to achieve that goal. This is sometimes missed by applicants who will just list their goals and not how they are working to achieve them. We'd also like you to add an organization chart to the Documents tab. This must clearly show how your organization is structured and managed in a visual way. Your financial health. The biggest part of this is to upload your qualifying expenditure worksheet to the Documents tab. You can also download it from the Documents tab. You will find it here, and you will find it here. We'd like you to provide a summary of your audited revenues and expenses in the table below. Providing these numbers here will allow us to easily aggregate your data for ZAP's reporting requirements. So we really thank you for taking the time to add these here, even though we'll already find them on the Excel spreadsheet. Your total revenue here and your total qualifying operating expenses, and this is for the most recently completed fiscal year. This is to help remind you when you have attached the appropriate financial documents, your 2014 audit, your 2015 audit, your 2016 audit, and the auditor's peer review letter to the Documents tab. Peer review letters are not the letter that comes with your audit. They are a letter from the CPA who reviews your auditor's practice. Ask your auditor for this document. It should say something like, we have reviewed the systems and practices at your auditor's company, et cetera, et cetera. This is done every 3 years at your auditors, so they should be fairly familiar with the practice. You'll also want to describe your internal and external challenges that you faced and how your organization addressed them. Be sure to include that second part of how your organization addressed them. Everyone will have to answer this question that describes any related party transactions which occurred in the last year. If any related party transactions are listed on your audit, they should also be explained here. In the event of any sale, lease, or other transaction with a board member or affiliate, or staff member or affiliate, disclose the costs and expenses incurred by the board, staff member, or affiliate. Remember, each of these questions to be as specific as possible in each of these answers. We'd also like you to remember that this application becomes a public record after you are funded by the County Council, so anyone can grandma your application. If this happens, then we will notify you that someone has requested your application and we'll provide them with a copy of it. You'll need to make sure you attach all these required documents, including your verification of use of Now Playing Utah for the promotion of your events. You'll want to include the past events link. I will show you how to get that. Say your organization is the Living Planet Aquarium. Once here, you can see their past events that were listed. We want this link. Copy this here and upload this link. Once you refresh the page, it will show up here. You can also attach visual documentation. This is strongly encouraged. We'd like you to include videos or audio clips or up to 8 images, and you may upload more than one document in this section. These can be submitted anytime, so if you have a great photo you'd like to share with us, add it to your application at any point throughout the year. Remember to include your standard of ethics if you are not a member of the UNA or Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Remember that with these being public, any photos or any documents attached can be used by us in our social media or other publications. This is also an optional thing that you can add if you'd like. It was suggested to us by a few of you applicants that you'd like to add a cover letter. You can do that here if you want. Address it to Ms. Victoria Borns, who's that program director. Add it here, but this is optional and not required. Once you've gone over your application and completed all the questions, you can submit. As you can see, it will remind you if there are requirements that you have missed. If you go back through it, all of those answers will be read to show you what you need to fill out. Once filled out, click Submit, and you can make changes at any point up until the deadline. If you have any questions, though, we are more than happy to help you out. So please do contact us. You can see Vicki Bourne's contact information there, as well as my contact information. We're more than happy to help you. If you have any questions, especially with the qualifying expenditure worksheet, feel free to call us at any time. Thank you so much, and good luck.